Around this same time period, Debbie was in a car accident. She was still in vet school and was now studying to be an equine sports surgeon. I believe she was living with E.B. Hawkins and Annie Hawkins. They had a small one-room apartment above E.B.'s garage recording studio where I had recorded 10 Days in April, also Mistakes in All Volume 1 and Volume 2. She is truly a special person. It is totally remarkable that any one person could be that smart. The accident left her arms numb, from her shoulders down to her fingertips. She couldn't feel a thing. Her mother, Sandy, sent her to all the sorts of doctors, and the biggest consensus was that surgery might help. Debbie was not about to take that chance. Everything she wanted was on the line, her career and her childhood dream. She was really scared to operate on a racehorse, and it was becoming harder and harder to drive and go to classes. She and I were no longer in a relationship. Not that we really ever were, but we were still hooked together by a thread of magic belief in each other's gifts and dreams. We argued most of the time because she was still right and I was constantly wrong. But I don't think there was anything we wouldn't do for one another, even if we were taking 10 paces to turn and draw. If on the 8th step one of us tripped and screamed, the other would drop his or her gun, turn and run to make sure the other was all right. One day, I had been filling in my brother Dr. Cricket about Debbie's problem, and he said, "You know, John, there's a bunch of Native American Indians having a Sundance south of Washington, D.C., and a medical woman from the Cree Reservation in Canada is supposed to be coming down to Billy Tyak's reservation to take part in the ceremonies. Her name is Rose. And I bet if you could get Debbie there, Rose might see her." As usual, I was going to bring up something totally abnormal for people from the scientific medical world, but Debbie's magic and dream were worth the ridicule and stone throwing her family would give me. They all thought I was crazy anyway, and I am. I would get her there no matter what. If I had to knock her out and roll her in an old carpet and put her in the back of my truck, I would. I had several months before the Sundance was going to happen, so I waited for the perfect timing to introduce my idea. Billy was still training horses, and Sandy was still working for Hartford Insurance, and Debbie's sister Terry was still living at Sandy's, and Debbie came home every chance she got. I was still living on the road at the Logan Inn in New Hope, and Big Gene was still in the campground in Bechtelsville, Pennsylvania, in Brother Dave's trailer. I talked Debbie into coming to Big Gene's for dinner one Friday, and I was not on the road. She loved to drink with Gene and me because we had a lot of fun laughing and eating popcorn and watching old westerns when we drank. It was a great break for her grind at school. She came up, and I told her about the Sundance and the fact that if she went there with me, Rose might see her. And Dr. Cricket was driving in from Illinois, and he had already mentioned all of this to the chief, Billy Tyak. She said she would try anything, so I told Cricket. He told Chief Tyak, and Chief Tyak would ask Rose. I knew her mother would pitch a fit, but Billy would calm her down. It's amazing how people react to forms of medicine that have been used for thousands of years when modern medical science has not been around and available to the general society for maybe 200 years or so. It seems it would be the other way around, and that modern medical science would pay attention and use the old tried and true methods as well as the new. The American Medical Association and the politically correct assholes in this society keep smoking, drinking, and eating at McDonald's but won't admit that herbs and acupuncture work. Oh well, I can't change the world, but I can create havoc among the people I know and love. It came time for the Sundance. Debbie and I drove to Tyak Country. We found the place with the help of Dr. Cricket's directions. The Sundance would start on one morning and go until there was no one dancing anymore. If you've never been to a Sundance before, then you've missed a part of life that goes back thousands of years or more.